evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Hugo Quintanilla back here again, trying to get my homework done before it's too late to turn in. uh, Hi, I'm Hugo Quintanilla, your realtor, licensed with Long and Foster, Maryland, in North Potomac, Rockville, and yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, please leave it in the appropriate places. My phone number, 240-389-4846. My email, hugo@lnf.com. And my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for tuning in. I've been looking at the metrics and I cannot even thank you all enough for all the likes, the shares, the support. Every little bit of engagement that you guys give these things is amazing, and it really warms my heart so much to see so many people are interested in real estate and asking great questions. So I hope that you all are having a great evening. I appreciate everyone watching live on Facebook and on YouTube, and everyone else that's watching now live on Instagram. So really, if you have any questions, feel free and leave them in the platform you'd like. And I'm always here to help. Today, we're going to be discussing your ultimate 30-day home selling blueprint, day 11. And today, I was actually trying to pull up my information for day 11, and day 11 is going to be about reviewing your budget and quoting and your quotes obtained for repairs or renovations, and prioritize things based on cost and impact. We met with the realtor yesterday. Remember, we had that conversation with the realtor. If the realtor had any further stuff that they were going to give to us, then they'll give us that when the time comes. But at this point, we have already established a budget. We've already established what we're going to do. We've already have an idea of the research that we've used. We already what else can I say? You've already done a lot of the legwork that you need to. So now it's time to really put pedal to the metal and make it work. And now we're going to get started. Partner up with your realtor. That'd be my first suggestion right off the bat, because your realtor might have somebody or some network of people that they have trusted and used before. And I've said this plenty of times before. The last thing you want to do is spend some money somewhere and end up with less than you deserve because you don't know what you're doing and just followed blindly online. um, Losing money is bad. Losing time can be worse. So keep those two things in mind, especially if you're on a near timeline, or thinking about maybe doing something in that regard, because more than anything else, you need to be mindful of your timeline and your budget, what you're trying to accomplish with the realtor, and by when. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then what's the contingency plan? What's the plan B if it doesn't work? you know Hopefully we're doing the right thing so that doesn't happen. But worst case scenario, you gotta um, expect the best, plan for the worst. So, right off the bat, I'll give you 10 things that you would probably love to know about using that mindset of um, cost and impact. What do I mean by cost? Obviously, money wise, what are we talking about when it comes to bang for my buck? There are some places where you don't really need to go all out, and there are some things that you should probably take some time and invest in, and maybe you invest more in those things and less in the other things. And that's where we kind of go into the cross section of cost and impact, because how much impact is this improvement really going to have on the property, the overall aesthetic? Why is it that paint is such a quick remedy for so many properties? Why is a different coat of paint really just so uplifting? I think we can all agree that it's a blank slate. You see it, especially if it's a newer color in an older house, it elevates it to a whole different level. So we got to think about the impact of our improvements and what's really best. Sometimes you don't need to spend a lot. Maybe painting it is the only way to go. Organize quotes. Compile and organize the quotes obtained from contractors for repairs or renovations. It's just your due diligence. I would highly recommend you go to Target. They have this great um, kind of clipboard storage thing that you can use to kind of keep everything together. Start and buying a folder and keeping all your documents all in one place and really get organized. If you are, how do you say, unorganized? Can I say that? If you're unorganized with your receipts, your payments, the way you do business, the way you conduct yourself, the way you handle yourself with these contractors, you will get shoddy work. It's just, you have to act right so that they respond right. Good contractors are good contractors through and through. There's transparency there, but you don't want someone taking advantage of you because you don't know how to keep up with receipts. You really don't want someone to take advantage of you because you haven't done your research and don't know the current amount of a 2x4, what the price is, how much nails are, how much switches are, how much, light fixtures are. Really educate yourself, especially in this day and age when there is no excuse. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your home. You could educate yourself. So definitely think about that, look into that, and hopefully you do find some middle ground between what you want to do and how much money there is to do it. But don't think like you have to break the bank to make this happen. You really just have to be smart about it. Review budget. Evaluate your overall budget for home improvements, taking into account other selling expenses. The other selling expenses are me. Hi, I'm a selling expense. Also, we're talking about your title work. We're talking about probably about 2 to 3% of the cost of the property. So, $100,000. We're talking about 3,000 for every 100,000, and that's just what you got to factor in. We can do the math for you when we do your listing consultation. There are tons of ways to do the math and calculators for it, but at the end of the day, you have to factor those numbers into what your budget is, and ask your realtor what is their budget, where is the money going, because it really does give you peace of mind to know where your money went when that happens. Prioritize critical repairs. Identify and prioritize repairs that are crucial for the safety, functionality, or curb appeal of your home. um, I would honestly start with fun with safety. First and foremost, safety. Make sure all banisters are okay. Make sure windows are okay. Make sure screens are okay. Make sure kitchen appliances are okay. Make sure there are no gas leaks. Make sure there's no carbon monoxide. Make sure there's no radon. Make sure radon's been remediated. Make sure there's no mold. Make sure mold's been remediated. Make sure there's a good roof. Safety, plumbing and electric. Safety first. Then I would say curb appeal, because the outside does matter, and most of the safety aspects address the outside. Because if you have a safe roof, you're going to have a nice roof. If you're going to have a safe exterior, you're going to have a nice exterior. At least a very well constructed one that's going to last this test of time. That being said, functionality. When I think of functionality, I think of usage. And usage can kind of be in the eye of the beholder. I'll always make this argument, and we see it all the time. A person that takes a property and puts 12 rooms in a property that originally maybe had two. I'm being hyperbolic and exaggerating, but if putting more rooms, mm, putting too many rooms in a property can hurt the value of a property. Knocking down all the rooms in a property and making it all open concept like a studio can hurt the value of a property. So just being mindful of what can hurt and can help a property and what can hurt and can help in an area, is good to know. And you should work with your realtor and your contractors about that because they'll tell you what type of work they've done. Also, if you have something in mind in particular that you want to, bring into actual manifestation and fruition, is work with a contractor that does that work or specializes in that work. Stonework, go to a stonemason. Carpenter, woodwork. You'd be surprised the benefits that you'll have. Yes, you might pay a little bit more, but the craftsmanship you're going to get, the one of a kind treatment, the nature of the product, do your due diligence, but you could really get some great, great, great stuff made here in Maryland. So I always support shopping local, and I hope that further on this month we'll be able to have some business owners that are working on upcycling and in the thrifting scene. So I wanted to talk to local business owners and local organizations because really it starts here. It starts with your local community. It starts with the people that you live with and you operate around on the daily. You gotta be there for them at first, and then it spreads out. People see the example and then they try to do things somewhere else. I don't know if you guys remember the bag tax. The bag tax was something really funny a long time ago. It happened. We had the bag tax. And then now there are so many places that have seen the bag tax work and they're implementing it. So, you know, besides the point of what happened with the bag tax money, it's the thought that counts, guys. All right, I can already hear you guys just talking about when to tax money and stuff like that. I know you guys are, but let's get back to the day 11. All right. Assess impact on home value. Consider how each proposed repair or renovation may impact the overall value of your property. That's kind of hard to do as a homeowner because you really don't know exactly what each impact can be. My best suggestion is there is a home builder study that does look at that on the ROI, the return on investment of certain home improvements. I think I covered it one day in a live. That report is renewed every year. That's a great way, a great resource. But your number one resource is going to be your realtor. We look at those numbers as well. And we also have internal studies that look at those numbers. So think about that, just how much the ROI on certain improvements would be. Some nice appliances, have become baseline now. If a place doesn't have stainless steel appliances, you start to question things. So there's a certain baseline in certain areas that's expected, especially at certain price points. So you have to keep that in mind if you're going to be competitive. If you don't understand that or can't, that isn't explained to you properly, then you can be sitting on the market for a long time at a good price or maybe a bad price, depending on the situation, but a fair price, and it could be sitting there because it's not showing ready, and it just needs a little bit of tweaking. Align with market expectations. Ensure that your planned improvements align with buyer expectations in your local real estate market. What do we mean by that? You don't want to put Donatella Versace's mansion on Rockville Pike, you know? Like cram it in between like two like single family homes over in Lincoln Park. Like no, that's not the type of property that you want, you know. It is happening. Sometimes it happens, but those are very rare and few cases. You don't want to see them all happen everywhere, and you're not going to see them all happen everywhere. Now, you can make the argument that that's gentrification, but it's kind of the way the business happens. First, someone comes in and redevelops, and then it just a movement happens. So it's the cost of doing business at a certain point, and developers will develop, builders will build. You know, a baker must bake, and to do that, sometimes you have to break some eggs. So I am not for the pushing out of people into other areas, but I am 100% for redeveloping areas and sites that have been abandoned and being more creative with that space, especially if it's not being used. We need more affordable housing, and we need better housing that is more suitable to the price point. It is possible. We can look at trailer homes. We can look at container homes. We can look at all these tiny houses that have been developed. You know, one would hate to make these places um, too easy to get because, of course, you know, you make anything too easy for people. There's no incentive to grow from these experiences. But at the end of the day, we need more affordable housing, and good quality affordable housing is hard to come by. So, you know, it would be much needed if we could have a redevelopment of certain communities. But you don't want to do that in your own backyard. That's not your sandbox to freaking stand on. What you're supposed to really do more than anything else is take care of the value of your home. That's why we always suggest not to over decorate your property, not to put in that Donatella Versace, you know, water fountain and golden sink with the matching commode and, you know, bidet set. We want the expectations to align. Now, can you have things like the pool, like a hot tub? Yeah, you can. Um, but do not expect to get the most bang for your buck. It's going to be on a case by case basis, really. Because I could tell you some people that would love something like that, but I would tell you also that some people would very much not. Let's keep going. Excuse me. Navigate with contractors and negotiate. Negotiate with contractors. If necessary, negotiate with contractors to refine quotes or explore cost saving options. Cost saving options. Sometimes there are cash discounts. I'll just put that out there. Ask. Sometimes there are military discounts. Ask. Sometimes there are senior discounts. Ask. Sometimes there are blue light specials. Ask. AARP? Ask. Diners Club? Ask. But more than anything else, I think that if you don't ask, you shall not receive. Be honest with your contractors and tell them what your budget is and what they can do for it. And if they can't make it work, Don't expect the sun, the stars, and the moon. Be realistic with your expectations. The worst thing is for you to put greater expectation on someone or something than is actually there. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment and anger. Number seven, explore DIY options. Since a lot of the stuff can be done on your own if you have some time and aren't in a big rush, excuse me, explore your own DIY options. What can you really do on your own? Assess if there are any repairs or improvements you can confidently handle as you do it yourself. And I'm not saying go on YouTube and go look at these things up and then, try to figure it out. No, we want some quality work. And if you know how to do it, then cool. But if you don't, then don't even touch it. Don't even touch plumbing. Don't even touch electrical if you're not licensed, insured, or bonded. We don't want to hear it. I just, no. Consider long-term investments. Evaluate certain renovations as potential long-term investments that could increase your home's value. Here, I will point to solar panels, pools, hot tubs, gazebos, sheds, greenhouses, additions, extensions, a whole plethora of things that could actually be long-term investments. But what is something that is going to bring ultimately value to the home? And some would argue that solar panels don't bring value. They bring a commodity, they bring a certain type of value, but they also come with their own costs. With any sort of benefit, there is a cost. With any sort of, even buying the home itself costs you something. Being forward thinking and green always ups the value of a property. That's why we have a designation for it. Being green is good. Now, being smart about where you're green is better. Not every solar panel company is the same. So ask them, how does it work when you sell your home? That, more than anything else, is the biggest thing that we see. Is that process easy? Is it workable? What is really going on there? How difficult it is to transfer the title. you know what could happen in those situations? Ask them that. I've worked with some companies like Tesla, for example, that their company was pretty smooth process. It just, the paperwork had to be done on time, and we did it immediately. The listing agent was already on top of it. So there are things to do that can benefit the long-term potential of the home. Just don't do enough that you want to stay in the property. That's the worst thing in the world. You spend all this money and then you just want to stay there now. Check your financial options. Explore financing options for major renovations if needed. Understand associated costs. If you need to work with your lender, they might be able to do some refinancing work. And then also look at other options, a short-term loan, something that might be able to give you quick liquidity to get this all paid off, or maybe put it on cards and play it off over time. But really be smart about financing this. We don't want you paying for these repairs forever. So try to make these payments as soon as possible so it's not a pending sort of transaction that's never going to end. And you're going to be paying insurance on that. You're going to be paying interest on that one banister from 4 years ago that you put up in that house. You don't want that. And lastly, finalize your repair plan based on your budget review and prioritizations. Finalize a plan for which repairs or renovations to proceed with. Oof, excuse me, I wrote that wrong. Based on your budget review and prioritization, finalize a plan for which repairs or renovations you can proceed with. I guess I probably meant. So, you want a plan, and you've talked to your contractor. You've talked about a lot of this stuff with your realtor. So you already have a good game plan. Write it down, make a calendar, share it with people. Over communicating is not a bad thing. Sometimes people get offended, but just letting people know where we're at on things is not bad. Checking it is not bad. So having those weekly checkpoints is a good thing, and establishing that timeline is a good thing because you can hold people accountable and you can really make progress on a project. That's what you want, is progress on a project. Yes, it could take more time than expected. Yes, it could take more money than expected, but budget for 20% more, budget for 10% more time, and you should have all your bases covered, really. Hopefully you've done your research and you're not spending a lot of money, and you're going to be spending on the things that really do matter. So if you have any questions, feel free and always reach out and talk to your local realtors to get a better picture of what you can do on your home and what your contractors can do to improve it, and what their contractors can do to improve it. Today's Day 11, we talked about organizing quotes, reviewing budget, prioritizing critical repairs, assessing impact on home value, aligning with market expectations, negotiating with contractors, exploring DIY options, considering long term investments, checking financing options, and finalizing repair plans. Reviewing your budget and quotes and prioritizing repairs based on cost and impact will help you make informed decisions about which improvements are more beneficial for your home's market appeal and overall value. And really, that's what it's about. Not every property needs to be a mansion, but every property should be to a minimum standard to the other properties in its community. Don't expect to sell for top dollar if you don't look like a top dollar house. It's just so tough for sometimes for people to understand that. But a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of maintenance and money in the right places can make a huge difference. So, if you need help finding out about what your home value is, check out montgomerycounty.realestate. That is my website where you can check out the value of your home and get a brief estimate of what home value you're working with. And from there, talk to a local realtor, talk to me, talk to somebody else, whoever you need to get the quote and see what you got. Because really, at the end of the day, the market is changing and we're seeing more and more properties every single day, especially as the hope that interest rates will go down gets better. We are seeing more and more people just trying to prepare for the market and think about selling. So hopefully we see a lot of listings. We're expecting at least 18% this year from what I saw in the conference. Amazing conference from RIS Media. And yeah, it was a really great day. I hope everyone had a great time and was able to see it. And thank you all for tuning in to this live. I always appreciate you guys. My phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com. My website is yourrealtorhugo.com. So feel free and check it out. Check out montgomerycounty.realestate to check out that home value estimator, and check out hugoquintanilla.realtor to download my application on Google or on Apple, um, the App Store, because you can check out my lists, all my listings, and all the listings on the multiple listings server. You can actually check everything out that we got, just like I do. It's all real time and it's free to use. If you go through my portal, just use the code at the bottom. And if you have any questions, have any problems with the platform, let me know. um, I appreciate you all. Thank you. We will be back here for day 12, which, just to preview for you guys, is going to be Consult with your realtor about whether renovations will significantly impact the home's selling price. And we'll really dive a little bit more into what are the best improvements to make and what probably the realtor will say. But again, I always say this, with a grain of salt. Every case is different and it's case by case. So again, thank you all. Take care. I will talk to you soon. And yeah, have a great evening. I will talk to you soon. Bye. See you tomorrow.